So today we will talk about some excess function. Uh, um, Today we will talk about some Excel functions or some functions which are available in Excel. So usually whenever we use any function, first we put an equal to sign and then we write the function and the command inside it. So first let's start with logical operation. So what is logic? Logic is basically you do this, then this, otherwise this. Like you score more than a 60% marks, it's first class, otherwise it's second class or whatever it is. So this is the logic we use while speaking. So the same logic we will be applying in Excel. So let's first start with the simplest of function, that is the if function. So here I have given name of different students and their attendance, their class attendance. The total number of classes are 31, and these are their class attendance. There's 22, 3, 12, 0. These are their class attendance. Then we have calculated the percentage. So the percentage, the fraction, the percentage of classes that they have attended out of the total they have attended out of the total number of classes. So here 74.19 means that this particular student have attended 74.19 percentage of classes. Then their marks in economics and marks in maths, these two marks are out of 20. So let me write this. And this is the marks in maths out of 20. Now, this is the total marks, whatever they have scored in these two papers out of 40. So, and then I have given certain commands, certain criteria. I have mentioned a criteria, which is if the student have attended more than 60% classes, I can call them regular, otherwise they're irregular. So the same logic we will be applying here. So in if function, how do we write this? So equal to if. So the first thing it's written, which is written inside the bracket, is the logical test. That is, what is the logic we are following? So our logic is this percentage should be less than 60%. So this attendance should be greater than 60%. And then value if true. If they have attended more than 60% of classes, I call them regular. So value if true will be regular. And the value if false, that is, if they haven't attended more than 60% classes, then they are irregular. So the value if false will be irregular. So this is the logic of the function. So first I write the criteria, then what happens if that criteria is fulfilled, and then what happens if the criteria is not fulfilled. So this particular student, she has 74% attendance, so they are regular. This one 30, so it's exactly 60, not 60%, not above 60%. So they are irregular. Now there is a catch. If I want that, if I want to include the exact 60% into regular as well, so then I will write equal, greater than equal to 60. But anyway, this is 38 out of 38%, so definitely they're irregular. And we drag and drop. So I have got the entire table ready with the number of regular candidates and the number of irregular candidates. And if I want to calculate how many students are regular and how many are irregular, obviously we can go to our old, the easiest process, that is our old data filtering. And if I select irregular, we can see there are 26 out of 57 records. So 26 students are irregular and the rest are regular. So I won't repeat this anymore. That's it. Now I'll explain the concept of nested if. So what is a nested if? That is, see, we mark the, suppose we have to put some marks on a student's attendance. So suppose if attendance is 80, so if attendance is 80, above 80%, we give them 10 out of them. If it is less than 80 but above 70, then 8. If it is less than 70 but above 60, then 6, and 0 if they are less than or equal to 60. So the logic is the way I have told this thing. So so this is my attendance cell, which is E. So if this is greater than 80, then I'm giving 10. Now think about the if function. If equal to if, then the cell, then the criteria. Then what happens if it is? This criteria is satisfied. And then what happens? It is not being satisfied. What happens if it is not being satisfied? So here, if the student is not getting above 80, not having above 80% attendance, then what? Then if it is not above 80%, it can be above 70% as well. It can be above 70%, right? So then the second criteria is being included. So if this is greater than 70, then I'm giving them 8. And after that, now a student who is not having greater than 70% attendance, but they may have above 60% attendance. So then another criteria is being included. That is, if this attendance is greater than 60%, then we are giving them 6, otherwise 0. So if someone is not having more than 60% attendance, so it's obviously less than 70 or 80. So we are putting 0 here. Okay, so then I'm writing this particular Excel function. So nested if function. So let's do it once again. So if this is greater than 80, I'm giving him 10. Else, I'm putting the next command. That is, if this is greater than 70, I'm giving them 8. What happens if it is not greater than 70? Then I'm putting another command. That is, if this is greater than 60, then I'm giving them 6. Otherwise, 0. And then I'm closing all the brackets. So this particular student, obviously 74%, so definitely greater than 80, greater than 70 but less than 80, so this person is going to get 8. And then we drag and drop. So see the next one, 38% attendance, that means obviously she's going to get 0. And again, this one is having 70% attendance, so she's getting 8. Finally, the if and function. So here I want if a student is scoring more than 15 in maths and more than 70 or 75, 70 or 75, 70% attendance, I'm calling them excellent or I'm calling them average. So here I put the if and function. So let's start with equal to if. Then I start with and function. So and they're saying a logical test first. So if this is greater than 70%, and the second logic is the marks in maths, which is this one, is greater than 15. So that's it. Now what happens if the value is true? If the value is true, I'm calling them excellent. If the value is false, I'm calling them average. That's it. This student is having 70% above attendance and she has scored 17 in maths. So she's an excellent student. And the next one, So I drag and drop for the rest of the candidates. So look at the next one. She is having less than 70 attendance, and her marks in maths is also less than 50, less than 15. So she is average. Okay. The next one also, see, her attendance is 0, but her marks in maths is 15. So, but she is not again, she is getting the average tag. So, next we discuss the if or function. So here my criteria is, if the student is having more than 50% attendance and more than 30, that out of 40 in total marks, I'm calling them good. Otherwise, I'm calling them pakibaj. Okay. So here my command will be that if, so here I'll start with if or. So equal to if or. So what is my first criteria? This should be greater than 50 and the total marks should be greater than 30. Okay. Now what happens is, if it is true, if this criteria is true, I'm calling them good. And if it is false, I'm calling them hakibaj. So this one is good. Look at the second one. Here, her marks is 14 and her percentage is also less than 70. So she is a pakibaj. So I drag and drop. See, I can. So this is how I fill the entire column. See, look at the next one. She is, look at the next one. She is actually having more than 0 attendance, but her marks in maths is 15. And her total is 31. So greater than 30, obviously. So she is good. Despite she hasn't attended any classes, but still she is good. Similarly, if not is just opposite of if. So here I can, what, so previously I have called the students who have greater than 60% attendance regular. So those who are not having less than 60%, they are irregular. So if this is less than 60, that is, if this is not greater than 60, right? Anything which is less than 60 is not greater than 60, obviously. And then if it is not greater than 60, I'm calling them irregular. Else, I'm calling them regular. So that's it. And then I drag and drop. So what we have learned in this sheet, so we started with the if function. Why this filter is on? Let's turn off this filter. Okay, so what we have learned here, we started with the if function, then we have the nested if, that is if inside if, then if and, that is both the criteria, both the conditions are being matched. Then if or, that is either of the two conditions are being matched. And the final is if not, which is just opposite of if. So these are the functions related to logical operators that we have discussed here. Next, we move on to lookup and matching. Sometimes we have a lot of data with too many number of columns. Here I have taken only 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 columns, but there may be a data with say 70 or 80 columns. And we have to find out one particular value corresponding to a particular row at a particular column. So there we can use the VLOOKUP or HLOOKUP function. VLOOKUP when your data is vertically arranged, HLOOKUP when your data is horizontally arranged. So here our data is vertically arranged, so we'll start with the VLOOKUP function. Remember one thing, VLOOKUP only match the first column. See here we have the names of the students in the first column. So for any particular name of the student, I can find out how much percentage he has, how much he has scored in eco or maths or her total marks. Okay, not the other way around. Like if I have the marks, I cannot go back to the name of the student. So here the command is, so let's answer the first question. How much Anisa Iqbal has scored in maths? So here, let me find out Anisa Iqbal. She is here. Okay, this is, let me just highlight the cell for easy identification. So my, so it is the 10th row. So the command is equal to VLOOKUP. So now it is asking me to find out the lookup value. So lookup value is this. Okay, I simply click on the particular cell where I have the name of that particular student. Now for the table array, I select the entire table. Okay. Now the column index, in which column my marks in maths has been recorded. So see, this is the name 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Marks in maths is in the 5th column. So I write the 5 here, and then it gives me, look at this, true or false. True is approximate match, false is exact match. Let's select the false one, that is exact match. So that's it. So she has scored 14 in maths. Now you may think, what is this approximate and exact match? See, I have written Anisa Iqbal here as the name. Now suppose there is just Anisa, not Anisa Iqbal. If I would have selected approximate match, then it would have considered Anisa as Anisa Iqbal. Okay, not exact. You don't need the entire Anisa Iqbal in the name in this cell for an approximate match. But for exact match, you require the entire name Anisa Iqbal. Okay. So let's okay, then how much Deepika scored in economics? I have given another example here. So first let me look out where the name Lipika is. So Lipika is here. So cell number A44. Let me highlight this one first. So this is Lipika for you. So my VLOOKUP formula should be equal to VLOOKUP. A44 is my cell number. That is this one. A44. Again, I select the entire table, and eco is 1, 2, 3. Fourth column gives me the marks in economics. So instead of 5, I write 4 and then true. That's it. So Lipika's score in eco is 15. Let me check. Yes. Sorry. Okay, next move on to using index function. Okay. So what next question is, what is index, what is Nidhi's marks in match? Instead of VLOOKUP, I can also use index function. What is the advantage of index over VLOOKUP? That I'll tell you next. So in index function, In array, I select the whole thing. This is my array. This is where I want to find out. Then the row number. See, Nidhi is in row number 7. Okay. So this is my row number, and maths is at the column number 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 5. So column number 5. Okay, just a minute. So it is, as I was saying, here I have selected the entire data. So my question is, what is Nidhi's marks in math? So I have selected my entire data, and here this name Nidhi Tulsian. She is in is in row number 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 is her row number. So I'll write 7 here, and row number 5 gives me the marks in maths. So 14. So see, what is your advantage of index function over VLOOKUP? See, VLOOKUP, I have to see here in VLOOKUP, I have to write so many things. But here, in case of index, I just give the particular row number and column number. It gives me the value. Suppose I want the same value for the first girl, that is Sukritika. So her row number is 2 and column number is 5. So it is clearly giving me Sukritika's marks, that is 17. And suppose I want her, instead of her marks in maths, I want her total marks. So column number 6 I can write, and it gives me 34. So this is the advantage of the index match over this VLOOKUP. So I am again giving you the answer of the actual question, that is Nidhi's marks in math. So it should be 7 and 5, and it gives me 14. And then match function. Match function is, suppose we have Nidhi here, and in which cell would you find Nidhi? So it gives me from the values to cell. That is, if I have the values, it gives me the corresponding cell. So here I'm selecting the name Nidhi, that is the lookup value. And then in which column would I find Nidhi? That is this column, my entire column. This is the name column. And then true or false, whichever you want. Here I have given you exact match. So, and it gives me 7. That is, in the 7th cell, you will get this name Nidhi Tulsian. Okay. And finally, a more dynamic approach, that is index match. In index match, see, VLOOKUP is something strict. You have to give so many formulas here. Index is more dynamic. I just change the uh, row number, column number, and it is giving me the value. And index match is even more dynamic than this match function. So in index match, see, I have given the entire data, that is this entire value. And suppose I want, that is, I want this girl, Niyati, which is A6, her marks in maths. Okay. So I again, inside the match formula, instead of previously I just gave the column number and row number, here I'm giving you, I am selecting the name of the student and where to find the name of the student. And then false for exact match, and the column where they will find the marks in maths, and enter. So this gives me the index match, the formula. Let's do it once again. Instead of this, okay, let's, this Vina charger. let's find her total marks. Instead of marks in maths, let's find her total marks. So first step is I write index, then select the whole data. Okay. So it is showing there are few arguments in the function. So I have to use the match function now. So inside the match function, what I want this lookup value and this lookup array, and the match type is I want an exact match. Okay. So now the column number, which is the sixth column, and then I close the bracket. Okay, there's missing formula. Yeah. Sorry, there must be some error somewhere. Okay, just a minute. I think I missed the comma. Equal to index the whole thing. Then I missed a comma. So then the match and this. So it gives me 30. So Veena Shajar scored 30 total marks. So this is how I can use the index match formula. And that's it. These are all about the lookup and matching formula we have in our course. So just give me a minute. So next, move on to some other functions. That is the, just give me a minute. Okay. So let's move on to some related functions. We know how to add different cells using the sum function. So the count function is used to count the number of observation in a data set. Suppose we have this. Suppose we have this, and we drag and drop. We don't know how many data are there. We really don't know. But if I count the whole thing, it gives me the number of observation I have here. So it's 57. Now suppose there is, just a minute, I have used the ran between commands. So let me do something else. So suppose now I have some data here and there are some missing values. Now count gives me, see, as I'm putting more and more missing values here, the total count is being reduced. So count is only counting the number of occupied cells. If I need to count the number of unoccupied cell, I have to use the count blank command. So if I put the count blank command and then the range of the data, it gives me the number of missing values. So 3 here, obviously I remove 3 values. I have 3 empty cells here, so it's 3. And similarly, count A also counts the number of occupied cells in your data, which is 54 in this case. So both count command and count a command will give you the same value. Now, then let's start with the count if command. Obviously, we know what if function does for us, and count if is obviously kind of a combination between the count function and the if function. So here I want to find out how many attended more than 60% classes. So my command is count what, that is the first more than 60% means I'll select the entire percentage column, and this has to be, then I put this criteria, that is more than 60%, and that's it. So 40 here. Just a minute, I think there is something wrong somewhere. The same thing I gave. Anyway, so if I select the entire range and then within quotation, I put the criteria. Now, if I want more than 75%, instead of 60, I will write 75 and it will give me the number of students who have attended more than, who have attended more than 75% of classes. So, just a minute. So that's it. My question was how many students have attended more than 60% classes. So I put the entire range and then the criteria after the count if, that is which is more than greater than 60, and I put this greater than 60 inside a quotation mark. What happens if I don't forget to put the quotation mark? It won't give me the value. So remember, when you are using the count if formula, you have to write the criteria inside the quotation mark. Otherwise, it won't be able to calculate this. And then I want the count is formula, that is 2 if inside a count. So how many attended more than 75% classes and more than 30 in total? So here I select the range. First, what do I want? How many have attended more than 75% classes? So I have to select the percentage column, which is this one, and more than 75 is my criteria. And then for marks, I have to select the total marks column, which is this one. And again, greater than 30 is my criteria. So that's it. So I have 6 students. See, if I wanted more than 60 here and maybe more than 20 here, the count would have been 30. So, okay. Now sum if. So it's an if function inside the sum function. So if I want to find out what is the total score of the students who have attended more than 50 classes. So then I use the sum if function. So again, first I have to select the range where I want that condition. So this is my range. So my criteria is this should be more than 75. And some range, like which values to add. So total marks is my required column. So these values to add. And this gives me the total marks. Sorry, more than 50 was my criteria. So instead of 75, I make it 50. Okay. And some ifs, that is 2 ifs inside the sum function. So maybe total marks scored by the students attending more than 50% classes and scoring more than 50 in maths. So here I write equal to some ifs, then sum range, that is what to add. So first I put this total mark column, which is this one, and then the both the criteria range. So first criteria is this percentage column should be more than 50 and this maths marks column should be more than 15, and we close the bracket to get the total value. Average, obviously average function is basically equal to average, gives you the average. Suppose I want to calculate the average of average marks scored by the students in total. So this gives me the average, and then average if. So we see here I did the total marks of the students who have more than 50% attendance. So let's see what is their average. So I have just copied this. I have just copied this function and replaced sum if with average if, and it gives me the average value. And average ifs is to if inside an average. So for this one, that is total marks, instead of total marks scored by students attending more than 15 and 50% classes and more than 15 in maths, I want to find out average of the students who have attended more than 50% classes and scored more than 15 in marks, so in maths. So I simply copy paste this sum ifs formula, and instead of sum ifs, I have to write average if. Something is wrong somewhere. Okay, just a minute. See, here the cell numbers are changing. So what do I need to do? I have to change the cell numbers here, the rows here. So this this is one thing in Excel. Whenever we copy paste a formula like this, the cell number changes. The only way to avoid this thing is to fix the cells using the dollar value. I forgot to do that, so I have to face the consequences. Just a minute. I will have, so I'm showing you what to do. Here I have to fix the cells using the dollar sign. Only then I can copy paste things and get the desired results. So I have to fix all the cells using the dollar sign that I'm doing right now. So see, now I copy the whole thing and paste it here. And instead of sum if, I'm writing average ifs. So I copy the whole thing, I'm pasting it here, and instead of sum ifs, I'm writing average ifs, and it is giving me the desired results. So what we have done here, the count formula to count the number of observation, count if, that is count observations which are satisfying some particular criteria, some unique criteria, and count ifs. So we are counting the number of observations which are fulfilling more than two criteria, more than two conditions, and then sum if, that is if function inside some function, that is the total marks scored by students who are fulfilling certain criteria, sum ifs, that is two if function inside a sum function, and then same in case of the average functions. The last, not the last one, sorry, the text function. So here the name of the students are written. I want everything to to write everything into uppercase. So I just write upper and then click on the name and it will turn the entire thing into uppercase. In the same way, I write lower and then select the text. It gives me everything in lowercase. Now I want everything is in proper case. See, my thing is written in proper case only, but then proper, and then I select the text, it gives me in proper case. Now suppose I wrote this like this, a capital K in between. So here the proper case is writing it in a proper way, like the first letter of the name in caps and the rest in uh, small, small letter, as it's a small case. And this trim case is actually this case reduces or removes extra space. Suppose I have some extra space here. See, everything is in the middle. All the uppercase, lowercase, and proper case, they were considering the extra space. But if I write trim, then it will remove the extra space, but it is not written in a proper way. So how to avoid it is either we can use proper plus trim, that is proper and then trim, and then click on the particular cell. See, it is the proper in the proper case and it has removed the extra space. Or I can use trim plus proper command. So trim plus proper and then the text. It removes the extra space and write everything in proper case. So I drag and drop and my entire sheet will be filled. That's it. Finally, I'll discuss the time related function, which is the last of the lot. See, anywhere I write today, it gives me today's date. And anywhere I write equal to now, it gives me today's date and time. That is, now it's time. The time is 22:15. That is 10:16. Okay, 10:15. So if I write now, it gives me the date. That is 5th July 2024, and the time is 10:15. So if I want just the year, I want to extract the year from this. I'll write year, and I just want the month from this. I write equal to month and then select the date. I write the day from this. I That will select the day for me. Similarly, from this, I want hour, minute, second, everything. So if I write equal to hour and select the date, it gives me hour. I want minute. Like this, I get the minute. I want, see, as the time is changing, this is also changing. I want the second. Though the second is not written here, it will extract the second for me. Now, weekday, that is, which day of the week is this? So it's a Friday, so 6th day of the week. So I'm getting this one. And then the net weekdays in the month. So say, and in July, how many weekdays are there? So equal to net weekdays. So net weekdays. So my here, if I give the start date and the next date and the end date and the holidays, it will give me. So my start date is the 1st of July, end date is 31st of July, and holidays, suppose there are two holidays in July. So it gives me the number of weekdays I'm getting in this week. Okay. Or I can, instead of this, if I just select the date here, and there are two holidays in the week. See, this is not in the correct format. This is actually, it should be in the date format. So I have to change this one. Why isn't it coming? No, sorry, this was correct only. The first date was this and the last date was 35. So it is, I have to change this one. And it is giving me 21. And what I forgot here was the week number command. So which week of the year is this? So if I write week num and then the serial number, that is the date I'm putting, and the return type, that is if I want Sunday as the first date of week, I select this and it gives me the week number. That is, it is a 27. We are currently we are in the 27th week of the year, and this gives me, and the end of month, year month, that is the end of month date. So if it is, say this is July, so your, this is your date and it's your current month. Again, I have to change it into the date format. Then only it will be, see, if I write 0, it will be giving me the last date of the current month. If after comma I write 1, it will give me the last date of the next month. Or if I would have written -1, it would have given me the last date of the last month, which was 30th of June. Okay. And next, I'll calculate the age of a student, age of an individual. See, today is today's date and your date of birth. Suppose it is 10th February 2004, 10 to 2004. So how to calculate your age? So for that, I use the year frac command. So this is your, see, your start date should be your date of birth and your end date should be this. And basis, you want this in proper 365 days format. So click on tab, and then your age is 20 years, 4 months and a few days. Okay. And then finally adding time, we have two particular time, we add them and then we change the cell format into time format. You get the time, or the time gap between the two. Okay, so that's it. These are the functions we need to learn. So we started with the logical operators. Then we discussed the VLOOKUP, HLOOKUP, VLOOKUP function, matching function, index functions. Then count ifs, sum if, sum ifs, and finally some text function and some time related function. So that's it. We are done for the day. Thank you very much for watching my video. Good night.